In this video, let's walk through the process of adding your titles to Shotcut for your Gym Class Hero video. We went over how to make titles in Photopea that we're then going to import and use in our Shotcut video. The thing about Shotcut is the titler is lame. It's not good at all. So we're better to create our stuff in Photopea. Let me just quickly go there. If you remember, we did a file, new project. We created a Gym Class Hero, and we needed a full page at the start. That I remember. So let's go call it full page. The resolution is the screen quality, full HD, 1920 by 1080. We're going to create this because it's a full page on a white background. Okay, if we're doing a lower third, it's got to be a transparent background. But for the full page, because it's going to cover the entire page, it can be white. So there we go. Now, we need a background image first. So what did we do? We went to Shotcut and we said, okay, let's find an image, a frame that we want to use. I'm going to say that. That's a lame frame, literally. I would never use that as an opening title shot. It's just not very good. But I'm going to use it just for exemplar sake. Actually, let me find something a little better. I'll pick this just for fun. It's got a little blur to it. Let me just move it. Get his eyes open. There, I'll pick this. Okay, so I'm going to pick this as the frame that I want my opening title to go over. That's going to be Gym Class Hero. Now, how do I know what I need to put on as far as titles? Go to your assignment sheet. Okay, we've been through this in class a couple times. I've made all the corrections and additions. Graphics required. Opening title is a full page graphic. Okay, and you want to create that over a still image that we capture from our Shotcut timeline. Then we have what's called the lower third, which is going to identify Mr. Elsey and his relationship to exercise, good, bad, or indifferent. Lower third, bottom third of the frame. It does need transparency because it's going to overlay over top of an image, a video image of Elsey. Okay, so it has to be done with transparency. And that's a PNG. We'll get to that. Closing graphic, that can be placed over a downloaded still image as well. Okay, so that should be done probably, maybe even over the last sort of frame of the video. But I'll let you pick it. And it's, you know, it can say Gym Class 0. You don't have to be that harsh. If you don't want to be, you can say something else, but related to his not so great exercise routine. Okay, so that's a full page, the first one. Second one's a lower third, which needs transparency. Third one's a closing graphic, which is again a full page. And then a background image for copyright information and credits at the end. Okay. So there's 4 different sets of graphics. Now the credits, you're going to have more than one credit. You're going to have your name as the editor, Mr. Elsey's name as the star, Mr. Snyder's name as the director, and we want to put a copyright in there for the music that you use. You're going to use 2 tracks of music, remember, and when you use them is listed here. Okay. So let's get back to the graphics for a second. Let's go to this opening title page. Okay, Gym Class Hero is what it has to say. So that's the frame I've decided I want to place it over. And so I'm going to have to go to File, Export a Frame. Export a frame. Okay, and then you got to give it a name. This is Opening Title Gym Class Hero BG. Okay, where am I going to put it? I'm going to put it where I've been putting my other stuff for this project, my video clips. So go to my Gym Class Hero exercise clips. I've been working in the converted one. So I'll put it in here, the graphic in here where the video files are. And save it. So I know where it is. Okay, now it's time to go to Photopea. So we're going to go to Photopea. I'm not going to do the whole process because we've done it in class. But the bottom line is we've created our canvas, 1920 by 1080. We've done it over a white page simply because we're going to cover the entire canvas with his image. So File, open in place. Where did I put it? I put it in the same folder that has all the video clips. So I'm going to that point now, Gym Class Hero, and mine's in converted. I had to convert these, and there it is. Opening title, Gym Class Hero, background. Double click it. There you go. Now, I can see just a little bit of white edge around it, so I'm going to go to my Move tool, and I'm going to just transform it ever the slightest, holding Shift, remember? Just make the image of Elsie just a bit bigger and make sure it's covering white all around 4 edges. Okay, there we go. Now, Gym Class Hero is what we have to put on. So I'm going to just get my text tool. I'm just going to do it quickly. And I'm just going to click in here somewhere. And I'm going to type in Gym Class Hero. Okay. Now, obviously it runs way off the page. And if I want to move this on, forget about the font for now. Okay, does that look any good? No. Number one, the font is not good. We're going to change that in a minute. But would this look better if we do what is called stacking the words? So what do I mean by that? Let's go back to the text tool. Let's go back and Gym, enter. Make it a new line. Hero, backspace, enter. Now I've got a stacked font with 3 words. Let's see if I drag it up here. There you go. That fits the screen much better. And it adds balance if I put it over here. If I put it over here, this whole frame is out of balance. If I put it over his face, clearly not good. If I put it in line with his eyes, like so, that's not good. It's distracting. And if I put it down here, again, it's unbalanced, right? If I put it in the middle, dead center is dead boring. It's distracting, right? It's not working well with the image. It's dominating the image. So I'm going to put it somewhere on this side. Now, before I decide where, I'm going to change the font. So text tool, double click, Command A will select all that text. And I'm going to go find something that's not crazy like that. Probably a sans serif without the little ticks. Let me see. But something that's got some excitement. Like this won't work because, again, it's too fancy, right? So, like, it's not great. You might like it, but it's just tacky. Okay, so that one's pretty plain. I'll just stick with that for now. Okay, I'm going to select it all, and I'm going to scale it up, way up, and that's not big enough, I don't think. So I'm going to select that text layer, select the Move tool up here, go Transform Controls are on, and then I can just grab the corner, hold Shift, and I can scale it up. I think that's too big. Now it's too dominant, right? So there you go. I'll say about there. Now, do I want it up here? I think it's kind of conflicting with his face, right? And if it's too close to him, it's really conflicting with him. It's overbearing, and it's really taken away from him as far as hierarchy. Way over here, it's kind of too far away. It doesn't seem to be part of this graphic. Down here, what if we put it somewhere in here? Hey, maybe that's a good place because look, it's not competing anymore with his face. It's close enough to him from a proximity standpoint that it seems to be part of him without interfering with him. So I'm going to select that position. Okay. Now, I'm not crazy about that text. It seems to be jiggity-jaggedy. So I'm going to go Command A. I'm going to find something else. Focwing, what's that? Focwing. I've used that once before. This one, what's that all about? Oh, that one looks pretty cool. Right? Still looks kind of energized, not just straight up and down. It's got some thin and thickness to it. Okay, I can move it. Probably it's a little wider font, so I'll move it there. Turn off my transform. Now, here's what I need to do. Command plus, zoom in. I need to make sure that this text is not too close to an edge, because that S could get cut off. Or not too close to the bottom, because the bottom of the letters could get cut off. So I'm going to create what's called a safe title area. And in Photoshop, we'll have a tool called Safe Title next year. In this case, we're going to create our own. And what that is just setting a boundary. It's like a margin on our workspace here so that we don't get our text too close to the edges. So with your rulers on, take about a 50 pixel. Should do it. Close enough to 50. Doesn't have to be exactly 50. 1920 minus 50 is 1870. Really simple basic math. Good enough. It's with a pixel. Drop it down. 1080 minus 50 is 1030. So somewhere in there is good. So now I know that any text element, any letters, can't be outside that area. Okay? Or the letters could get cut off. So I'm going to keep them well within. So I'm going to say, well, maybe I'll just put it there. That's kind of a nice spot. What seems to be lacking for me, though, is this text doesn't really sort of have an anchor to it. Nothing that's sort of holding it on the screen. It's just sort of floating in midair, which isn't wrong, but maybe I want to add a shape behind it just to give it a place to live. It's kind of like when you walk into a great big room in a house and it has no carpeting at all. You've just got this big open bare floor in front of you. It seems to be lacking that sort of anchoring space of a carpet. Well, here we're going to lay a carpet down to anchor this text. How do you like that for an analogy? Okay, so I'm going to add a shape. I'm going to go to my rectangle tool, and I'm going to click, and I'm going to drag. And I'm just going to do something like that. Okay, now you notice that the shape is over top of the text, so I've got to grab that shape and drag it underneath the text. Say, oh, not bad. It's really come to life there. Maybe I don't like the color, although the color does seem to match his shirt perfectly, so maybe I do like the color. I'll keep that color. You notice how I've got this shape running off the screen at the bottom here? That's okay because you don't read shapes. Oops, Command Z, let's go back to our shape. Okay, we don't read shapes. Keeps wanting me to go there. I want to go there. You don't need, really? You're going to be difficult, are you? Okay. So, not sure why it's doing that to me. But it is. So here's what I'm going to do. Okay, now, tell you what, I'm going to right click and select the shape and then move it. There you go. So I don't know why I was selecting it here. It was working. Wasn't working. So I've right clicked on these two layers and I'm going to select shape 1 and now it seems to be working. So if you have that problem, it's all about working around the problem, right? I'm going to have this shape run off the bottom of the screen because I don't have to read anything down here. Shapes are just colors. Okay? So I'm going to put it like that. I'm going to try to center it. Maybe I'll take the text and center it a bit more on that shape. Okay, that looks a little heavy to me, that shape. So we talked about the other day about going to the layer opacity of the shape, not the text, and just bring it down a bit maybe so we can see through it a bit. Now, if you don't do it enough, it'll look like a mistake. So if I only do it that much, it'd be like, eh. But if you take it down to say like 75-ish%, I can clearly see through that now. Click off that layer, you get rid of the blue line. I'm going to say, you know what? I kind of like that. Gym class hero. The only thing that's missing maybe on the gym class is let's put some quotes in there because it's the title. So let's select the text tool, click in there, and just go quotes, close quotes. And you know what? I like it better without the quotes. It's cleaner. So I'll just go like this, gym class hero. Do I like the size of the font? Do I like the color of the font? Those are all decisions you'll make. If I find that the spacing between them is too much, again, you can go to character right here, and that's called leading here. Okay, leading or leading, depending on how you want to pronounce it. And I can just decrease the amount of space. Ooh, do it gently. Between the lines. So let me go to auto. It's not really behaving all that well for me. Not sure why. So maybe I'll put this as 90 points. Oof. Maybe I'll put it as 98 points. So something's a little weird on that setting. Okay, so I'll just go back to auto. It may or may not work differently for you. I don't really want to take the time right now to figure out why it's behaving so badly. But it should not be doing what it's doing. There's clearly a reason it is. So I'll just go to auto. Okay, enough of that. That's what leading does, though, is the space between the lines. So now I've got my full page. I'm going to say I love it. You can put a photo in here if you want, or something to spice it up. This would be like a level 3 minus right here. 3 minus. Let's go to File, export it as a JPEG. I don't have to do it as a PNG because there's no transparency. It's not laying. It's going to cover the video below, not overlay it. So JPEG, right? 100%. Save it. There it is. There. I'm going to show up my Finder. It's going in the wrong folder because I didn't change my folder name. So I'm going to right-click when I found it, and I'm going to put it in grade 11 folder. Okay, and I'm going to put it where the background was. Gym Class Hero. And I put it in the folder set converted. Should be a graphic in here. There it is. That's the background only. I'm going to paste the finished graphic. And it copied it. There you go. So that's a full page. Okay? Not just the background. Then I'm going to go to Shotcut. I'm going to go to Open File. I'm going to go find that exact same folder in that file. Double click. That's why you got to make sure you stay organized. I spend tons of time just looking for stuff because I'm not the most organized, and it's a bad habit. Okay, so this first one says BG, PNG. I don't want that. I want the JPEG full page. Double click, brings it into the preview window in Shotcut. You got to click and drag. I don't know why it does that, but you got to click and drag it over here to your actual clips bin here, to your media. Okay, and then you're going to go to project here, project tab here, no longer source. And that's the opening title. So that graphic goes before Elsie does his walk. Okay, so that means right now I've got to make some room. If you look at my timeline, my first clip starts right at 0,0000. So I'm going to select that first clip, hold Shift, select that last clip. Now, if you have other tracks of video and audio, make sure you hit the Command or Control and individually, select those things so that you select everything. See how I've deselected holding Command or Control? If you've got other tracks, make sure you move everything at once, because all we're going to do is move it out of the way. There we go. Then we're going to go to our opening graphic. We're going to drag it down. We've now added it at the start of the project. Okay. Now we're going to close that gap that we've opened up here. And I'm going to click the first one, click the last one, click anything else that might be on your audio tracks or a video track above. Don't know what it is in your case. Click and snap it all to the end of that graphic. So now we have Gym Class Hero, and then it cuts to the start of the video. At the start, let's put a fade in on this graphic. Okay, we've done this in class. So we need to go to filters on this clip. We want to add a filter. We want to add a fade. And we want it to be a fade in of video, not audio, video. Click it. It adds this little, let's blow this up. You see the little angle there? That's the actual fade. It's 1 second by default. Let's make it 15 frames or half a second in our case. Now it's half the length. It's only a 15 frame or half second fade up. So watch it. Beautiful. Okay, and it lasts for, how long is this clip? Let's go and add another filter. Let's go and look at properties now. Let's go to properties window here on this clip. Here's properties. I'm at the 3 seconds, 27 frames. Almost 4 seconds. Okay, that's under properties, so I can close properties. It will add a still image as a 4-second image by default. Okay, so it's 4 seconds, and then you can make it longer or shorter just by dragging the end. Okay, so now we have our fade in. Go back. Don't like the way this doesn't go right back. There we go. There it is, fades up. Okay, and then we cut to Elsie. Maybe we want to put a fade out. We want to fade to Elsie here. So let's see what they've got for transitions. I haven't really explored this too much. So let's go and add a, can we add a dissolve? Nope. So I have to do a fade out. Fade out a video of this clip. Okay, so there's my fade out. So I'm going to make it 15 frames just to be the same length as the fade in. See what happens. I go to black though, I don't like that, right? So what I'm going to have to do is right click, track operations. I'm going to add a video track above the rest of the video. So that's where I'm going to put my title information, up here. And now, actually, I think in Shotcut, if I'm not mistaken, I can do a manual. It's much easier in WeVideo. You just do a transition. Let me see if it won't let me do it. So I'm going to move everything out of the way and just deal with these 2 clips. Okay? So here's what I'm going to do. I've done a fade, but you see the fade doesn't work because it dips to black and then comes up. I don't like that. So I'm going to go to this clip. I'm going to get rid of the fade out. There, gone. Now what I'm going to do is take this clip and I'm going to turn off the magnet and I'm going to overlap them a bit. And the length of time that I overlap them, I get this purple dissolve. If I double click that, okay, and let's play it. Oh, that's what I wanted. I wanted to dissolve. Nice. Maybe it's a bit too long, so I'll just shorten the dissolve a bit. Yeah, nice. So how did I do that? Well, the fade out doesn't work. So what I did first is I got rid of all this stuff, moved everything down, anything that's on a top track or audio or whatever. Move everything together, otherwise things get out of sync. Drag your clip and then just overlap them. See how they're overlapping? The further I overlap, the bigger or slower the dissolve is. That's way too long. Watch. Let me play it here. Overlap way too long. So if I drag the clip though, it leaves the dissolve behind. So that's not what I want to do. So what I want to do is just do a little bit of an overlap. Okay, puts in a transition. It's weird how this program works sometimes, but there's my transition. If I don't like the length of it, zoom in and you can trim the length of it a bit. Okay, so I can shorten the transition time. Okay, I like that length. I'm just going by visual. It's more of an organic feel than a numbers feel. So how does it feel? Good. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is, I'm going to get rid of this track. I don't need it. Okay, as I'm going to get everything else, minus, 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 so I can see the rest of the timeline. I'm going to select this first clip. This is one thing that drives me a little bit crazy with Shotcut. Select this first clip. There we go. Hold Shift, select the last clip. Anything above or below has to be selected or it's going to get all messed up and out of sync. You're going to move everything together. Turn your magnet on first. So magnet on so it snaps. Okay, so the beginning of this clip will snap to the end of the first video clip. And that play bar is in my way, so I'm going to have to move it. And then drag it and it should snap now. right there. So there should be no flash of black or anything. There is a flash of black. Did you see that? You son of a gun. So I'm going to select this. The problem I'm having is this first clip is so short. So now I'm zoomed in. My magnet is on. Now I've dropped it. Make sure there's no flash of black. Good. Okay, so that's how you can add your title to the start. You've got to make room first by moving everything down. Okay, I've added a fade in on the title, up from black, and then a cross dissolve to Elsie just by overlapping those first two clips. And then I've moved everything back into place. Okay, now we might want to put a title. We have to put a lower third title on Elsie. This might make the most sense to put it here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm not going to grab a frame now because the title, the lower third, is going to go right over this live action video. So I'm going to go back to Photopea. I'm going to make a new graphic. Okay, I'm going to have all the same resolution, and this time I'm going to make it over a transparent background. Full HD, create. There you go. Command minus to zoom out. Now what I do want is I like to design on a white page, so I'm going to add a new layer down here above the background. Okay, it adds it as a transparent layer. You've all done this before. Go to layer, new fill, color fill. Let's make it white. Color doesn't really matter, but white's easier as far as designing on. Now I've got that. Now lower third, we've talked about lower thirds and what what's involved. Let me go and add some of our other lower thirds that we've created and just talk about the elements of them. They are located on my computer. They're located right here in a Gym Class Hero lower thirds folder. Let me bring all of them in. I'm not sure what's what here, so let me just take a look. I'll bring them all in, selected them all. Now, we talked the other day that in order to put a lower third title over top of the video, we have to have a video track on top. So I'm going to right click on my video one, track operations, and I'm going to add a video track. There you go. Now, track height, let's make them a little bit shorter. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to put a title over this point here where Elsie's walking down the hall. Now, what's involved in a lower third? Let's take a look. What do we got here? That's a background. There we go. This is what I'm looking for. Okay, so we talked the other day and we actually had you create some lower thirds based on inspired lower thirds from the internet. They're really located in the bottom third of the frame. You see them there all the time, and they give us two pieces of information usually. One, who's the person we're seeing or talking to? And second, what is their relationship to the story that we're seeing unfold in front of us? Whether it's a news story, sports story, or whatever. Caught 16 touchdowns this year. He's an awesome athlete. Won the Nobel Prize for chemistry. Whatever it is, that second line. You notice that there's differences in scale. His name is most important, and then his relationship to the story is important, but we need to know who he is first. So from a hierarchy standpoint, his name stands out. We've made it out of text, shapes, 3 shapes there, 4 shapes here with a stroke, and then we also brought an image in, okay, off the internet. So that's a pretty decent lower third. And remember, this also had to stay inside of Safe Title, which was 50 pixels all the way around. Again, to see it over top of live video, we had to have that second video track. We place the title on the track above, just like in Photopea. Things on top cover things below, and in this case, because we did a PNG export, let me just remind you, Okay, so if I have a shape and I have some text on it, okay, like so, and I want to export this so that I don't see this white page. First, I got to turn the white page off. See the transparency below. I can still add other shapes. I can still add images, whatever I might want to add. Okay. The bottom line is this page is transparent. It becomes invisible when we bring it in the editor. So the point is, I'm not going to rebuild the whole lower third other than to say it stays in the bottom of the frame. Okay. We're going to go to File, Export as a PNG. And you can see the transparent background in the preview before you export. Click Export, and there it goes. I'm not going to use this one. I'll just deal with the one I'm working with. Same process. It was exported as a PNG. So we see the transparency. Now that you've got this on top, you can position it. If I move it down too far, it's going to cover not only Mr. Elsey here, but it covers him still on a cut. So you got to make sure that it's placed in the right place. Now, we have a dissolve. Dissolve. And then the title comes in a little too early, so I'm going to move it to the right a bit because it just becomes a little bit distracting. Let's see. Dissolve, title. So the title can go there. I'm just going to move it left. I'm having trouble with the snap today. I don't know why. I'm going to turn it off. There we go. Play it. Mr. Elsey, awesome. Athlete, and then the cut is coming here to the next clip, so I've got to shorten this title so it ends before the next shot starts. So now we'll see graphic dissolve to Mr. Elsey walking, title comes in, title goes out, and cut. So I think the whole thing can be moved to the left a bit. So let's see. Dissolve, play it in real time. Dissolve, title in, lose the title, and next cut. Yeah, so you get a bit of pacing between where the title starts and stops from the shots before and after. Now, if we want to add a fade into that, in WeVideo, you've got transitions you can use. In this program, I don't know why, they don't have any real transitions. So again, filter, select the clip we want to add a filter to. We're going to add a fade. We're going to add a fade in video. There it is. Let's do a fast one. Let's do a 10 frame. 10 frame. Very fast fade in. And then on this one we can do a fade out. So we're going to do a fade out because we want it gone before we get to the next shot. Fade out. Let's click up here. Let's make it 10 frames out. So keep it consistent. Now let's watch it. Watch it in real time. Play, graphic, dissolve, fade in, fade out, and then the shot changes. Okay, so that's good pacing. So that's our lower third that we're going to build for this project. And then at the end, we need, after Mr. Elsey has been a total exercise fail, we need to create another full page similar to this, except a different background. This is not a great graphic, by the way. It's a level 3 minus 2 plus. Okay, pick another still image at the end that says gym class 0 or gym class fail, whatever you want to call it. Okay, and you're going to include that. So I'm just going to use the same one we've already put in there. There it is there, full page, and I would drop another full page. Again, if I want them to dissolve, I'd drop it here, and then I would dissolve at the end. The music's playing. Go to the end of the video. That dissolves way too long. So I'm just going to do having trouble with this snap today. I don't know why. Turn off the snap. Let's play this. Oh. And gym class 0. Okay, and then after this graphic, you only want it up there the length of time you need it, so I'd probably trim it somewhere there. Then you're going to put credits in. Okay, and they can be over a bunch of still images. It'd be awesome to tell us who the editor was. You. Tell us who the star was, Mr. Elsey. Tell her who the director was, Mr. Snyder. And give credit to the music you use. You're going to use 2 pieces of music. So that's how you do the titling in Shotcut. WeVideo is the same. You got to make room for clips as you go. So for the full page at the start, you got to move everything so you can make that space. Okay, and then the lower third is going to track above. Okay. With WeVideo, it's even a little bit easier, but it's the same process, the same concept. Check the assignment sheet to make sure you know which titles you're making.